Hi everyone, I'm Heather Wen, a retired nurse practitioner and the founder and practitioner at Arizona Healing Alternatives. On this channel, you'll find several videos, what I like to call aha moments, where we'll be discussing issues that impact your health. So whether you decide to use Western medicine, alternative medicine, or even a mix of both, I'm passionate about you knowing what your options are. In today's aha moment, we're going to be talking about that little word called motivation. Motivation is so important to look at because, believe it or not, I've heard a lot of people having problems with it, and when we start dealing with motivation, it actually can impact your health. So stay tuned. So let's look at that word motivation. When I've seen people coming into my office and even over the phone doing remote sessions, so many times I'm hearing people are saying, Heather, even though I may have a little bit more time, I just don't feel motivated to go and do the things that I want to do, whether it's working on my business, whether it's going and losing some weight, whether it's improving my communication with other people. I just don't feel motivated to do it. What is wrong with me? Well, the first thing is there's nothing wrong with you. In the year 2020, we've had so many different challenges and so many things that are coming up that this is part of it with the motivation. If we look at the definition of that word, motivation is just something simply that causes you to want to do something different or make a change or do the things that you need to do on a daily basis. So when we look at that, if you look at 2020 has been a really, really difficult year. Lots of challenges, and what we know about human beings is that most of us don't like change. There's been lots of it in 2020. So with all the different things, people who are more sensitive to energies around, oftentimes they can feel this kind of heavy feeling all around just because people are under a great deal of stress. And when you're under stress, it's very difficult to try to get motivated. For many people, stress kind of paralyzes you, and I would encourage you to watch some of the other videos on this channel about stress and what to do about it. But what I found is what people are doing is they're ending up getting really, really down on themselves. And when it comes to motivation, well, why should we even talk about this? When we're down on ourselves, why is that a problem? Let's think about that. There is this little gland in the center of the chest that when we were born was the biggest it's ever going to be, and that's called the thymus gland. And the thymus gland is helpful for our immune systems. You guys get where I'm going with this? So when it comes to immune systems, I've been talking a lot about immune systems. This was as big as it's ever going to get when we're born. Well, back in the old days, they didn't even know what that gland was for. Why is it there? And in some cases, they thought it might be causing infants problems. So many, many years ago, and not too many years ago, they ended up radiating that to get it to shrink, which I've seen some patients that have had that happen, and it's wreaked havoc on their immune systems and on their bodies. Unfortunately, in Western medicine, they determined that that wasn't a good thing to do and stopped doing that, which is great. But things that affect the thymus, I teach people this really easy technique that comes from the applied kinesiology I do, which is Total Body Modification, where you can try to stimulate this and get that little thymus gland to grow. And all of us right now could use that. So it's called a little thymus thump. And you just take some deep breaths, center the chest. You don't want to tap too hard, just really gentle, deep breath, and that can help that thymus gland grow and work better. Well, what does that have to do with motivation? What does that have to do with self-talk that really isn't kind to ourselves? Well, if I have a patient smile and I test the strength of their arm or their leg and they smile, I get a really, really strong response. If they frown, ooh, it goes weak. Well, what does that mean? Well, in this medicine, in this energy medicine, what that means is that it's impacting this thymus gland. And so when we frown, when we get upset, when we have that self-talk, it actually affects your immune system, which in turn, if you're not feeling well, affects your motivation. So they get down on themselves and say, you know what? Why aren't I doing this? Why can't I seem to get motivated? Well, first of all, like I said, it's difficult when stuff around you is stressful or things that you're dealing with internally are stressful. But how do we take that and not take that out on ourselves and our self-esteem? Well, here's some things to think about. First of all, what I talk to people all the time about is oftentimes we have this sort of itty-bitty, what I call S committee in our head that is so critical that, oh, well, You didn't get up today? Oh, really? Okay. Well, you didn't get up and do this and this and this and this and this. You have all this time, all this critical stuff. And we tend to do that to ourselves. And so what I always do is one exercise. I tell people, just fire the committee. You know, if you can hear those thoughts going, it's firing that committee, please. Because once we fire that committee, it becomes easier for us to be gentle on ourselves. These are difficult times. Notice too, is many times people, when they talk to themselves and they kind of get in their head and they start going, oh, you should have done this, ooh, shoulding. I always tell people, don't should on yourself, okay? I should have done this, I should have done that, I should be doing this, I should be doing that. That's one of the things, because that's being really down on yourself, or saying the words, oh, I just can't do that. I can't do it, I can't. We know that even from children's stories about the little engine that could, right? It's looking at talking to yourself differently. When you fire that committee, it's talking to yourself differently, such as saying, yeah, I can do this today. I will do that today. Not I'm going to, because then that's future and that can happen tomorrow. I'm going to do this today. I'm going to get one thing done on that list, or I'm just going to get one thing that I need to do. And I can do this. I can do this. We know that when people are motivating and saying that to each other, it can really, really help. So you can even do what works for you. You can either write a chart on the wall that says, I can do this is what I'm doing today. Whatever makes it so that you stop shoulding on yourself, and also you stop that itty bitty S committee from getting away with stuff they shouldn't be. Ooh, did I just say should? So when it comes to motivation, once you fire that committee and send them out the door, and for some of us, you know, it may take all day doing that. Once you do that, it's being gentle on yourself. I know we've talked a lot about the power of positive thought, but it's really true that if you can just say, okay, I may not be writing a novel this afternoon, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to get up and I'm just going to do one thing on my list today. And you slowly start doing things a little bit at a time and reward yourself for that. And I'm not talking about, you know, the COVID-19 and rewarding yourself with things that aren't healthy for you. You know, I'm not with COVID-19, and a lot of people have been talking about gaining the COVID-15, I guess. But what I meant by that is to reward yourself by self-talk. Talk to yourself and say, wow, that was really good. I got that accomplished today. Let's do this. And it's just doing it. Even if you don't feel like it, it's the same thing when we're exercising. Same thing with all those things where, yeah, it's difficult to get motivated when we're not all together and in the gyms and doing all that stuff. So there's gyms that have pivoted and done some other things that you can do things online, or you can do things on Zoom, or at least you feel like you have a community, just something, or you can Zoom with a few friends, whatever it is you need to do to actually start doing little things for yourself and taking care of yourself. That in turn, slowly but surely, can help with motivation. And obviously, like we talked about in some other videos, if that motivation leads to severe sadness, and that sadness leads to depression, which is another video where I talk about the differences between sadness and depression. Very important, obviously, if it gets to that point, anytime, if you had any kind of suicidal, feeling like you're killing yourself or someone else, that's an immediate 911 call, not waiting for counseling. But if you need help, there are people out there. In my practice, I do emotional reprogramming and help people with that motivation, help get their body's energy up so that they can work on it and become more motivated to work for themselves instead of against themselves. The other possibilities for things that can help motivate you would be do something that you enjoy. For example, some people, it's watching comedy shows. It helps them laugh, and we know that laughter many times is the best medicine. So laughter, smiling, things that can grow that thymus gland, even if you don't feel like it. It's almost like smile, even if you don't feel like it. Watch a comedy, talk to people who uplift you, that actually where you laugh together, this sort of thing, connecting with other people. Even if you don't feel motivated to do it, try doing a little bit of it. Doesn't mean you need to talk to everybody in the world the same day. What it means is to just slowly do something that you enjoy. And the more that you build on that, even if it's different than the way it looked before, the more you build on that, the more you'll be motivated, the more energy you'll have, and it'll just keep going in that direction. That's another thing you can possibly try. And just get on with rewarding yourself, congratulating yourself for the things that you are able to accomplish is so important right now. If you've liked what you've seen, please feel free to hit that subscribe button. Also, if you'd like to, you can hit the notification bell so that anytime new videos come out, you'll be notified. Please stay safe and healthy, enjoy, and be kind to yourself. so that that motivation little by little can increase every day. Have a good one.